Hi, this is Doug at Wood Spun Round. It's going to be kind of choppy today because I'm doing things that take way too long to be in one single video. So just as an introduction, what I'm doing is I'm building an air cleaner. I've been needing one for a long time. I bought a fan a while back, an exhaust fan, and I'll show you that fan more specifically. I'll show you the fan before I install it. But I'm getting ready to make a box. And what you see, there we go, right there, that pile of plywood on the saw is my basic parts, my basic components. I've got 4 sides to my box, the front and the back. And I'm going to, the 2 fronts, these 2 larger pieces, these are roughly 20 by 20, and I will be cutting a 14-inch circle in both of those, one for the intake, one for the outflow. So I'll come back after I cut my 2 holes, my intake hole and my exhaust hole. Okay, there's both top and bottom. Hole is cut. Had to go a little smaller than I intended. I was going to go about 14 inches. Those end up about, well, just a hair over 12. So next I'll come back and we'll start putting this thing together. All right, what I think you can see on sitting here on top of my saw, here's my drill, my screwdriver, my glue, my screws. There's the box pieces, and there are the supports to go in the corners to hold everything together. We'll probably end up putting some more, cutting some more of those, particularly for the top and back. Those will get the sides not only together, but will attach the sides to the top, but I may need some more supports for the top. I was going to show you my fan. Oh, there it is. Way over there. There it is. That silver thing right there. This is specifically an exhaust fan. It was made for that. I had another plan that I was going to use, but decided not to go that way. Right there is what I plan to do. That's a air handler fan. It came out of a air conditioner unit that was replaced several years back, and I use it during the summer, and I think it's on high speed right now. I need to see about changing the speed on it, but it moves a ton of air, and that's what I was going to use, but I think this other fan will do even better. So let me kind of get myself together. My space is so limited, and I've got way more junk in here than the law allows. So let me kind of get myself arranged, and I'll bring you back in a few minutes as we start putting things together. Step 2, I guess, or 3, or whatever it is, 4, 5, 6. I have drilled 3 holes in the ends of 2 of my sideboards, and then countersunk as well. So now I will get myself together, glue the joint, and run 3 screws in each end into the sideboards. Next step, I have drilled 2, whether they're top and bottom or sides, left and right sides, but I've drilled, as you can see, 3 holes in each end. Boom, boom, and boom. And then countersunk them as well. Next thing I will do will be to take my glue blocks, and I will glue and screw them on the inside, what will be the inside, and then I can work on getting the sides put on. Funny thing, you have a plan, everything's going well, and as you can see, there was a mistake. What I found on the other one was that I was too close to the edge of my glue block that's underneath. There you can see the glue block. I've got one on the end of both of these. Here's the second one. You can see both of them there, both of them there. But on the one there on the bottom, you can see the first screw split my glue block out. So I moved them in toward the center and in from the end. Up from the bottom, in from the end. So here we go. Now you can see it. I moved up and I moved in both directions. So now I've got 3 extra holes, but they won't matter. They're under the glue block, and they're going to be sealed anyway. So we're going to keep moving on. Next thing is to do is start attaching the sides. Okay, I just want to give you a good idea of how I'm doing this by myself. Here is one of the sides. There's one of the glue blocks. There's the other glue block. It is glued and screwed. Here are the other 3 sides. They are already glued and screwed. And as you can see, I'm on my table saw. I'm using my fence as a stop on the far side. In fact, I've pushed it too far and it's starting to come off of the rails. But this last piece will be glued and screwed in this joint, and then it will be put in something like that. Da, da, da. They'll be pulled apart. There we go. It's all fitted in. But those will have glue on both sides of this joint, both sides of that joint, and screws, the 3 screws there and the 3 screws on the other side, just like those are right there. And actually, there's where the screws will go. Right there we go. And then there's over this hole is where one of those 2 pieces will go. One of those on each side. So I'll get this last side to this box put together, and then I'll bring you back here in just a moment. Now, I know some of you are saying to yourselves, that thing's not going to be square at all. He didn't do anything. Well, there you can see my tri-square, or my carpenter square, speed square. That's the name of that thing. I did check it before I finished those last 2 corners. I did put the square on it, make sure those last 2 corners were square, and they both were, or I made them square before I ran the screws in. So now I'm going to give that just a few minutes, let that glue dry, kind of settle in. It'll take 30 minutes or so, and then I can get going. And in case you were wondering, nothing really special. I'm using good old basic Gorilla wood glue. There's nothing special about it, just a good quality wood glue that will set up, hold those pieces good and stiff. The screws are there to hold it, but the glue will do the actual holding down the road. When I set the faces on, the front and the back faces, I'll put some more glue blocks like along here, along the side there, for them to sit on, and I'll screw the faces onto them only. No glue on the faces, just screw so that I can get in there in case I need to. Okay, we'll bring you back here in just a few moments. Oh yeah, there we are. There's one side with all its extra blocking on the sides, ready for its face. We'll go ahead and put the support blocks on the other side, and then we'll start putting the fan and faces together. Well, there you have it. There is a basic box, 4 sides. It still needs a front and back. You can see the support blocks around the edges on both sides. You can see that, and that's for the front and back. I will drill through the front and back to go into those. There'll be, I guess, probably 3 screws on all 4 sides of both sides, both the front and the back. The front will have the fan attached to it, and the back will just have a hole for now. I'll eventually put a collection point back there with I'm going to make a big flannel funnel to go on the back side, just to catch any extra dust that might go through. I'm going to put 2 filters on the front. Well, we've got to build the front and the back, and then I've got to build the holders for the filters. Now I'll show you that in just a minute. But let's get the front and back built and ready to go on, and then I'll show you that. Well, it never fails. There's always an issue in every project, isn't there? Mine is the plywood that I'm using. I thought it was 1/2 inch. It's not. It's 3/8, and the shortest screws I've got are 1 inch. When it comes to mounting this fan, all there is are these little tabs here, and they sit up from the edge. I'm going to have to take these tabs off so that the fan can drop all the way down. Then I've got to go find some 3/8 screws that I can use to screw this down. So 3/8, if they barely come through, that's fine. The ones I've got come through 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. So I've got to go get some screws, and I'll be back. Okay, I just got back from our local hardware store. There's sort of a hardware store. Anyway, they've got a few screws, and I got what I needed. I've poured them out into this little tub so that I can keep them straight from everything else. And I've got them right here handy for the 2 jobs I got them for. Well, I don't know where it went. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, these brackets here, I'm going to take the 2 screws that are in them out, let this fan drop all the way down, and then I've got some self-tapping screws that'll go in there, and then I've got some short screws to go into the plywood here. So let me get my tools that I need to take these out, and then I'll come back and we'll start putting this thing together. All right, to date, what we have done so far, we have made the outer box. Here is one face with the fan. It is attached. You can see where the holes were that had the fan sitting up, had about a 1/2 inch gap there. So I took the screws out, let it drop all the way down to the bottom, put the brackets back in there, screwed it onto the face. These screws that I got do not go through at all, and so I'm happy about that. Should make things a lot easier as we go along. I guess the next thing to do is to attach this face and the opposite face onto the box. So I'll bring you back here in just a minute when we get things rearranged. Okay, I have set that fan, the face with the fan attached on the box. What we're going to do, we're going to come along, I'm going to drill 2 holes, 2 pilot holes on each side. So there'll be 8 screws going around the face here, just to hold this down to the box. We'll do the same thing on the other side. But once I get the screws drilled and installed on both sides, then I'll take the back off of it and do the wiring for it. We'll be back in just a minute. Well, thought I turned the camera around, but I didn't. Well, there you have it. I've got a box. I've got the fan installed. It needs the back put on it, but before I put the back on, I need to wire it. I thought I had boxes, electric boxes, junction boxes. If I do, I cannot find them. I thought I had 3 or 4. So, as per normal, and you guys are probably saying, that's what would happen to me. I've got to make another run to the hardware store. I've got the connectors that I need. I've got a switch. I was wanting to do a switch and a receptacle, and I've got the receptacle as well. So all I need is really the box, and just for sake of ease, I'll go ahead and get a lightweight extension cord while I'm at it. I think they'll have those 2 things. If they don't have the cord, I don't need the cord. Then again, if they don't have the box, I'll go up, have to travel 15, 20 miles up the road and pick up the box, and I'll get the cord while I'm there. So, for me, it'll be a little bit. For you, it'll be just a flip of the camera. So we'll see you here in just very shortly. Bye. Okay, we've gotten back from the hardware store. We got all the bits and pieces that we need. You see right there's a receptacle and a switch. The cord comes out right there. It's not being pinched, as you can see. As you can see, it wiggles back and forth. This will be the inlet side. What's on the bottom right now will be the outlet side, and it does work. Watch the fan. So you see, it does work. It's very quiet. It will blow a lot of air. Now, as some of you may be seeing right now, there's a problem. Can I get out far enough where you can see? Here's my problem. There is not much space right there. I'm going to have to modify what I'm going to do. I should have had the switch down here or over here. One of the 2. Boom, boom. That way the front would have been left clear for my filters. As it is, my filters are going to go on a diagonal. I have just made 3 brackets, piece of cherry and a piece of plywood. They'll be attached something like that, that will allow for, on 3 sides, my filters to be held in place. When it's running, it'll be it won't need anything. These don't carry any stress whatsoever. Filters are lightweight. I'm just putting in 2 1-inch filters. This is deep enough from here to here that if I choose to use the thicker 2-inch filters, I can. I very well may go to that, especially if I can find one that's a bit smaller. So the both faces, the front face and the back face, are both attached with screws only. This front side has fewer screws than the back side does. I think I put 3 on each side. Here I put 2 top and bottom, 1 on each of the sides. Everything is wired up. Like I said, it runs nice and quiet, and it does move a lot of air. I'm feeling a ton of air on the other side coming out the bottom. What's right now the bottom side, it will be the back side. So I'm going to proceed with attaching my brackets, and then we'll be at the point of applying. I got to see if I've got any paint that I want to use. If not, we'll go on to the process of hanging it from the ceiling at some point. All right, so I'll bring you back here in just a couple minutes. All right, I have, there's one of my filters. That's the secondary filter. There's a pre-filter that'll go on top of that. And what I've done is, one just fell over, of course. There we go. My brackets are glued down, and I've got my little storage bins that I hold my screws in, sitting on top, just to add just a touch of weight. They don't need a lot. All I'm doing is holding them in place and making sure there's no big gaps there. I'll come back and run a screw in, toenail, there we go, toenailing in from my side. I'll pre-drill those, of course, so that I don't split anything out. Okay, I think everything is looking fairly good right at the moment. Trying to get you a good overall view. That's as good as I can get you right now. But anyway, I'll be back. I keep saying in a few minutes. It's a few minutes for me. It'll be almost instantaneous for you. So just wanted you to see what I'm doing, where we're going. Haven't figured out what I'm going to do for a plate cover over this. Probably am going to have to modify something. I've got a dual box cover for a socket and a switch, but it is for the more typical round type sockets. And so if I use that, I'm going to have to modify it to accept that rectangular dual receptacle. So that's where we are right now. And while I'm off this time, I'm going to see if I've got some paint that I care to use. All right, see you in a minute. All right, there you can see the 3 brackets to hold my filters are installed. My switch and receptacle is all installed. I've taped it up, ready to paint that whole thing. I took the 2 covers that I had and cut them, and ended up actually cut one of them a hair shy, so there's a gap between. So I taped them together, and then I went ahead and I found the paint that I want to use, and right there you see my cover. I've clipped off this corner here. There you can see where the tape is holding the 2 pieces together. I will go ahead and get those painted up. I'll get those installed after I finish painting the box. This box is not meant to be a thing of beauty. This is a working exhaust fan is what this is. And so I haven't worried about getting cuts precise. In fact, as you can see, my table saw is pretty well covered. This is my work table right now, because over there is my primary work table. There is work table number 2. They are simply covered with stuff. I've never fully organized this shop, but this is going to be one step toward keeping it just a touch cleaner. This air cleaning fan, as I said, I will paint this up. I will get two filters. I'll have a regular furnace filter on the outside. That'll be my pre-filter. And then on the inside, we'll have a pleated filter to get the smaller particles. I was going to show you as well. There's some screen that you can see on the outside. This is the exhaust. This is just to keep anything getting in there by accident or even on purpose. I'm pretty much the only one that worked in here, so there shouldn't be anything flying around. It'll be hanging from the ceiling, which is not a very tall ceiling. It might be a 7-foot ceiling. Anyway, I'm going to hang it from the ceiling to draw as much dust. What doesn't get picked up by the vacuum, it'll draw through here. Hopefully, be caught in the filters. And on back here, eventually, I'm going to put a flannel sock. This screen will be pulled back off with a chute coming out. It'll only come out a couple of inches, and I'm going to make a flannel sock. I got the flannel already. All I need to do is make it into a long sock. I say long, about 3 feet long. This ended up being 12-inch, a 12-inch opening here, because that was as large as my circle compass would go, was 12 inches. So 12-inch circle. I'll make some kind of a flange somehow at some point in time, and then put that sock on here. That'll hopefully then catch what little bit gets through the pre-filter, the primary filter, and then it'll catch the balance, I hope. So that should reduce the dust that settles on everything and his brother. So I'll come back here in just a little bit. After this break, I should have it all painted up and ready to go on the ceiling. We're back, and we're in the very last stages of this build. What I'm going to show you is my fan. It's been built, it's painted, it's wired, it's ready to go. All I've got left is putting the hooks in it so I can connect it on the ceiling. So what I'm going to do is find my middle point. Measures roughly 21, so about 10.5, and I need 15.5 between my screw eyes that are up there, so 7.5 inches back from that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. Roughly get the center here. Very roughly. Very roughly. Doesn't have to be perfect for what we're doing. A couple of small pilot holes. Alright, twist in my hooks. You can buy these hooks. These hooks are very simple. Lay that down, maybe you can see it better. You can get those at any of the box stores. I put loops, screw eyes into, I'm in a basement shop, and so I put screw eyes into the floor joists that are over my head. These hooks will go right into those screw eyes. I put them in first and measured them. They measured 15.5. That's where I got that measurement. So these just simply screw in. And I'm putting them down to the bottom of the threads, no further. That's that. I'll bring you back in just a moment. I'm going to take the fan and reset up in the shop, and I'll bring you back as we hook it up and turn it on for the first time with the filters on it. Well, here we are at the final stage. I've got my filters installed in the air cleaner. Trying to get my cord so it's out of my way. I'm not going to trip over it. This is going to be a tight fit. Getting these hooks, they're not very long. I wanted everything as tight to the ceiling or to the rafters as I could get it. Filters are on an angle, but that's on purpose so that we can, there's one hook. Oh, is the other in the right place? That's the question. Let the cable down. Oh, we can get it. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. All right, filters are in the brackets. Take my tape off. I do have a cover for this box. If you remember, I had to modify I had two covers. Neither one were exactly right, so I modified the two together, have them painted. I'm gonna just plug this in roughly for now. I'll pretty up the cable here off camera. But I wanted you to be able to see not only that it's done, but that it works. This is a project I've had in mind for quite a while. I've got it over here. It's just out of my way, out of my entryway into the shop. This is my main walkway. As you're looking at it, I hope what you see is this would be on your right. My lathe would be opposite. This is the front side. My lathe is over there. There is a door on that end of the shop, but it goes to the backyard. I've got two doorways into the basement, into the storage area. So let's turn it on and make sure it works. It's working. As you can hear, it's not very loud. It doesn't make a whole lot of noise, but I'm seeing all kinds of things on the other end of the shop moving, so I know the air is blowing. Stick my hand back there, sure enough, there's a good amount of air. At some point, I will put a flange on that back side. I'll make a flannel sock about 2 to 3 feet long, roughly 12 inches diameter. That this air will come in through these two filters, through the fan, blow out the back side, through that sock. It should be about as clean as it can possibly get. So, like I said, this is a project I've had in mind for quite a while. Hopefully it's going to knock down some of the dust that I've had, some of the ambient dust that gets away from the vacuum cleaner. I've got an older Craftsman shop vac right here by my lathe. That's the primary shop vac I use at the lathe to collect my dust. I have a second one. It's an older one that I bought at an auction, and I may switch those around. Use that one here at the lathe and use this newer one in other places. But for now, this will catch my ambient dust. Hopefully, it's going to knock down some of my extraneous dust that's floating around. Thank you for watching. This is Doug at Wood Spun Around, and I hope you're spinning that wood round as well.